Welcome y'all to a new Waterwave TV podcast interview, whatever you want to call these things. You know, that's how I started every time. We don't even know what we call them. But we got Jaden from Blind Havoc, the most prestigious luxury pop and brand in Minnesota right now. We're going to learn a lot about him today. But before that, we got to listen to this wonderful intro.
And while you at it peeping this shit, go ahead to youtube.com/Waterwave TV and subscribe to that shit. Yeah, you know the waves in it. Baseball when hitting a home run, hit it with the coldest rains. And even on my bad days, I'm a clutch to finish. The track diminished, the booth burnt, hands is itching.
And we're back. Hope you enjoyed that Jake Giller song real quick. But we're here with Jaden. What's up, Jaden? How you feeling?
What's up, man? Feeling good. Super pumped. Yeah, excited about this.
Yeah, Blind Havoc. I've been seeing a lot of people wearing your shorts, especially in the sneaker community.
Yeah, I appreciate
going
it.
to all the sneaker events and stuff. And, I mean, even with, like, the clothing and stuff, too. But the shorts seem to be the big hitters, yeah. But, yeah, for all of you that don't know, Jaden owns Blind Havoc. It's a clothing brand that is in the Rosedale Mall.
Yeah.
You got a kiosk, and I don't see too many, like, usually kiosks are like the boring, like no one likes like it's always like they're trying to like get you to sell stuff or like they're trying to get you to buy stuff that you probably don't want, and it's just like the little knick-knack things. But it seems like your kiosk is pretty popular.
Yeah, it's been doing good. So I mean, back when I started Blind Havoc and I was like researching like all these brands and stuff, and I was trying to see like what worked with them. There's this huge brand out in New Orleans, and they did like millions and millions of dollars a year, like not from the mall location, but just like online. And then I looked, and they had a kiosk at the like New Orleans mall, and they kept it while they're doing 20 million, 20 million a year. And I was like, wow, if they're that big and they still have a kiosk, like there's probably like something there. So then I just tried to reach out to all of the malls around and try to see like which ones were available, kind of the process to that, and then kind of just dove in, signed a 3-month lease last summer, and it went solid, and then went again this year, and it's been going really well since. So
Yeah, I see. But so are you like the only one that works at it then?
yeah, so this year I am. So I'm there 7 days a week, every single day. But last year I had someone work 2 days a week, so I had to work 5 days a week, and then it was just hard for them because like probably the best part about it is I'm able to tell people like, hey, this is Blind Havoc, my clothing brand. I started, so that works a lot better than a person being like, hey, like I know the person who runs this, but so yeah, it's just a lot better process for me to be there, hands on.
That's kind of our thing in here. We don't have any employees yet either. It's just the 4 owners of the store. So it's like, because everyone always asks, what does Waterwave mean? You know, so I'm sure you're getting the same question, like what is this? So it's like you want to be able to tell that, and obviously you can train employees in to tell that story, but it's like they're not going to know every little last detail when they say, oh, like, so when you first started, what did you do when you were doing that? You know, like, so it's like you want to be able to answer those questions for people
100%.
as long as possible until they just know, and then it's just like, oh, this is where I can buy it, and whoever's working there, maybe working there. But yeah, let's get into kind of how you first started. I know I started a clothing brand when I was in high school. Called King of Kings, and I know starting a clothing brand right away, it sounds super fun, easy, like anybody can do it. And it's like you know, obviously you got to start somewhere. Most people start with, you know, just a random blank tee, and they just put their own design on it, whatever it may be, to start somewhere, just so that people know that you're doing it. But what was the beginning process like for you, like your first t-shirt ever made, coming up with the name Blind Havoc? Like, what was that process when you were sitting down coming up with it?
Yeah, so like I didn't like kind of started to create like a clothing brand. It was in 2020, a few months after the pandemic, and I just like grew up in a family that was all about like spreading positivity. And then after seeing like the effects of the pandemic and kind of how like everyone was almost depressed, I knew I wanted to create something that kind of spread like a positive vibe. So at first I didn't even try to start a brand. I just bought a $2 shirt from Walmart, an iron, and then just kind of like designed a shirt, put a positive quote, iron the paper on, which is not how you make a shirt, but I had no idea the process. Made that, showed it to my friends and family. They're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. But they probably were just like they kind of liked the idea of the positive vibe. So I don't know if they really liked the design, but that's kind of how it got started. And then after that, I would just like watch YouTube for like 5 hours a day on brands and kind of people who like started their own thing. I watched a lot of entrepreneurship, not necessarily at courses, but just kind of like day in the lives, trying to see like the process on how to like create a brand, how to market and stuff like that. And then so yeah, just kind of started with a shirt, show it to friends and family, made the Instagram, and then just try to expand from there. So
Fact, yeah. It's like that's a very like I feel like a lot of people go down that path of like just YouTube and a bunch of the stuff that they want to learn.
YouTube
like
University.
that's how I learned. Yeah, that's how I learned how to edit videos and
Yeah.
how I learned like a lot of stuff besides videos, just like random little things here and there. And I definitely watched like the Gary V types and stuff like
I'm
that.
heavy on Gary V.
Yeah, like the garage sale stuff. Of just kind of just like almost just like not even though I'm not a garage sale picker. I kind of am now, selling vintage clothing and knickknacks and stuff every now and then. But like it just kind of puts you in that mindset of like I can make something out of nothing whenever I want.
100%, yeah.
And I seen that like TikTok you made of like the 1 year anniversary thing where you had the iron-ons.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Oh my gosh. That's
yeah,
so
I
bad.
definitely did that back in the day. Not for my clothing brand, but like I just remember doing that stuff back in the day. And it's like, yeah, it goes a long way from that.
It does, yeah.
How did you so it's almost 2 years old now?
Yeah, so October 19th, it'll be 2 years, so in about a month, yeah.
How long did it take for you to like go from ironing a piece of paper on a t-shirt to like actually going to a print shop and like producing like your first load of shirts?
Yeah, it was probably a month and a half from the first time I like tried to iron the piece of paper onto the shirt. And then just right after that I was like, okay, I know that this isn't the same quality as shirts that's in stores, so I just like researched a ton, like how to get shirts made, sweatshirts made, all that stuff. Found out screen printing is like the highest quality to go for that. And then just reached out to a bunch of print shops in the area. There's so many. Like I had no idea that there's like dozens. I thought there'd be like 2, but there's so many. So I just like shot them a email, and then we just started talking, and then I had them test out a few shirts, and obviously prices range a lot, so I looked into that, and then been able to build some pretty good relationships with about 2 or 3 of them screen printers since then. So about a month and a half from the paper shirts.
So do you make designs yourself too?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You're
So
a Photoshop Illustrator type of guy as well?
Yeah. So I've made all the designs. Had no experience with anything, like not tech savvy at all. Like barely knew how to like take a screenshot on my laptop before this. So I just started with Photoshop and then just tried to get the basics down. I remember during school, like my sophomore year, I was probably doing more studying on Photoshop than my actual classes. So I was just trying to do that like every single day, trying to learn all the skills and
facts
stuff like that.
Let's talk about that. So you're a student at the U as well.
Yeah, I'm at the U of M.
What class did you graduate in high school?
2019. So I'm a senior. Yeah.
So you're a senior now?
Yeah.
I graduated in 2017. Well, I would be like a 6th year at this point. I don't even know. I went to school.
COVID year.
Yeah, I went to school in River Falls, Wisconsin for a year and a half, and that's where we actually met everybody in Waterwave, and then we ended up dropping out, moving to Dinkytown, and I had plans on like going to like community college and whatnot to finish up, to get a 2-year degree to like make my mom happy or whatever. But like, I remember I went to go sign up to classes, and all the classes I could like that mattered to my major were already taken. So I was like, all right, well, I'll take this semester off, and then I just never end up going back. It's like the only thing. But going through college, you saying you're putting more time into business and that. Have you ever thought about dropping out from college to pursue Blind Havoc, or is it the perfect balance to where Blind Havoc isn't taking up too much of your time to where you can still get that degree?
I've thought about it at the beginning. Like I kind of talked to my parents about that, and they just like really want me to get the degree, obviously, and I totally understand that. So I'm close now, so I'm totally gonna finish that. And then like in terms of time, I do like all the Blind Havoc stuff first, and then once that's done, then I do my school, just because like that's my main priority, and I've still been able to tackle my classes. So I kind of go with that. And like in terms of time, I mean, it's a challenge, but I don't like do anything else besides like work or school. So like I don't like party on the weekends or anything like that. So I mean, I'm kind of able to save all the time, and then kind of get the Blind Havoc work done, and then do the school after that. And with being at the Kiosk, I'm able to do my online classes there, so that's like amazing. So
I was gonna ask how that goes, because I know you had class before this and whatnot, and I know you got to go to the mall after this. So it's like that's what I was wondering with the time thing. Like I know necessarily like if you weren't working at the Kiosk, the time thing really wouldn't be that big of a deal. If you're running an online store, you probably have a couple hours a day depending on how many orders you're getting, where you're packing, shipping, going to the post office and whatnot. But working at the Kiosk, that's like 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? And so you're putting all those hours in every single time.
Friday and Saturday it's 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So it's 10 hours each for those 2 days.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that probably, like I said, gives you the time. What's your major in college?
Business marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're doing, it benefits your brand.
Yeah.
Cause that's like the one thing is like, I was a business major as well. And I was like, I wouldn't mind still doing business classes cause I'll learn something I didn't know about. But it was like, I guess like doing it like the media company thing just like was taking up way too much time. And like, I mean, I was definitely a little lazy too. Like I didn't want to go to class. Like I hate it. I'm not a school guy at all, but it's like, I wasn't going to a good school like the U of M either to where like it was like a lot going on.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But what have you seen that's worked better for you? I know you've probably done a few pop-up shops in your day, right? So getting your brand out, do you do better with, let's say, is it worth closing the kiosk for a day to go to a pop-up shop for you? Or is it like the kiosk is it's hitting, like people are showing up to the kiosk, it doesn't matter. Like do you ever do the pop-up shop type stuff?
Yeah. So, I mean, so in terms of the kiosk location, like obviously the best days are Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday's usually like the third best day of the week. So, if there's a pop-up shop that I've heard about that's pretty good on Sunday, I'll absolutely do that. But for Saturday, I mean, it probably would have to be like something pretty big just because of the draw to the Roseau Mall on Saturday is like so big now, and there's like a lot of people who are kind of in there trying to shop. But yeah, I mean, if there's like a pretty big pop-up on Saturday, I'd probably take the risk unless it's like $300 or something like that to go, just because obviously I've already paid the lease for the kiosk, and the traffic on like Friday, Saturday is so great. So yeah, it kind of depends on the day of the pop-up.
What were you doing before the kiosk to get you to that point? Because like I'd say, you know, going from just starting a kiosk is, you know, a hard leap. You know, you want to make sure your product's good. But I guess the first question should be, how long was the brand going before the kiosk? Like a year?
Yeah, so the brand was going about a year and a half before the kiosk. Or yeah, about a year. Yeah, so I started the kiosk last summer, signed a 3-month lease. Like you said, I'm still in college, so I did June through like September 1st. Yeah. And then it went pretty well, and then tried it again this year, and then it's going so well that I'm obviously doing it through the school year. So yeah, it was about a year plus before the first jump.
How were you selling your clothes before the kiosk?
Yeah, it was all through online, and then I was obviously marketing through Instagram and stuff like that. But yeah, all the sales were online, and then I mean I did like 1 or 2 pop-ups before that, but yeah, all online.
Was the online market working for you? Were you growing, or was it like a struggle?
It was a struggle. It was growing, not as fast as, I mean, obviously I probably wanted it to, but it was growing. The feedback I was getting was great. Like, I was getting a lot of people, kind of responding and saying how like not just the designs, but kind of like the whole brand is obviously like trying to like help them in a way. And, just trying to give them that like positive outlook on life. And I was like, okay, like that's like really, really cool. And how could I spread this to like as many people as possible? And then that's when I went back to the brand I researched before and how they like still do their kiosk location, and I was like, well, I'll probably try that, and I'll be able to probably spread it to like way more people. So that's kind of when I took the jump.
Were you selling like when you were doing the online stuff, were you getting out-of-state customers mainly, or was it still mainly?
It was I mean, probably like the biggest percentage would be in Minnesota, Wisconsin, but I was getting a pretty decent amount of out-of-state people, which I mean, it would like shock me. Like I would check my website and stuff, and I'd see like, I think New Jersey was the most popular state besides Minnesota, and that just like shocked me. Like I've never even been there, so that was cool to see. But
yeah, because I mean, all your designs are very different, and the mission behind it, like you're saying, is spreading positivity through streetwear. You want to like speak on like, I guess, the mission, why that is like your slogan, and what I guess Blind Havoc actually means, like what people almost give me the elevator kiosk pitch basically.
Exactly. If I ask it, you know? So the brand name Blind Havoc means to be blind to all the like chaos in the world, which also means havoc. So I'm just trying to be blind to all the craziness, and then obviously see the positives. So that's the brand name, and then all of the clothes are designed to spread that like positive outlook on life. The most popular design I have is the love over hate one. So it's got love on the top, butterfly grows from hate going up to love. And then also the slogan, ignore what's negative. So just like all the designs are kind of straight to the like Blind Havoc statement, which is just trying to be blind to all the craziness out there and try to see the positives.
Facts. Do you have any big inspirations? I know you talked about the kiosk in New Orleans, but like, do you look up to like do you like a Supreme or a Bape or like the Virgil Ablohs of the world, and like any other designers? Like, was there anyone that you like your initial day of wanting to start a clothing brand? Like when I started Waterwave, or when I wanted to start a company, I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted some people to be proud of either wearing my thing, stepping into my building, being a part of what I got going on. Like, I didn't know what I wanted, but I wanted people to be proud of a part of what I'm doing. Yeah. So like, what was your inspiration in deciding to go down the clothing pathway?
My inspiration for going down the path, I mean, not in like the clothing business, but my dad is like huge inspiration to me. Just like being around him all the time, and just he's the hardest working person I've ever met. Like, not even close. So like, he doesn't do like clothes obviously, but just like seeing how much time he puts into his craft, and I was just like, I knew whatever I wanted to do, that I would try to put in that same exact like process to it. And then Gary V is huge. Like, I'm huge on him. He's his passion is insane. So just not necessarily like looking up to other clothing brands, but just kind of like people who go about their craft like, and just trying to do it the same way as them is probably the people I try to emulate.
Yeah. Through the years, I was just like looking through your gram before we started this. You have a lot of different designs, for one.
Yeah.
But I've seen you have a lot of like, I'd say you've been hitting the athlete market. You got a lot of athletes that are either from Minnesota, or I've seen some that aren't even from Minnesota that are repping your stuff. Like, you got right in front of me right now, like Rashad Bateman, Gable Stevenson.
Those are my guys.
And these two basketball players, I've seen them on TikTok. What's those two girls' name?
The Cavender twins.
Yeah, those two. Yeah, I see that right here. Yeah. And then
I got a crazy story kind of,
about those two.
Kind of, yeah.
How did you get in their hands? Because they're not from out here, right?
No, they're from Fresno, California. Yeah, and then I was watching a Gary V video, and then he was doing this speech or whatever somewhere, and then he was answering questions in the crowd, and this person was like, hey, I'm trying to have my, I think it was like a media brand or something, like to like as many people as possible. And he's like, okay, grab your phone, DM as many people as possible, and 2 of them will respond, and then just like grow from there. And then right after that video stopped, I just DM'd, like, there's a few other people that were kind of like big on TikTok and stuff, and I just reached out to them. I was like, hey, like, I have a streetwear brand I just started that I've been like spreading a positive vibe through, and I sent some pictures of the merch and stuff like that, and said like, I would love to kind of have the brand on you. Sent it to 3 people. Hannah Cavender, which is one of the twins, responded in like 2 minutes, and right after I sent it, I was like, hey, like, she'll never even see this at all. And then she saw it, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, I absolutely like love the brand. And then she sent me the address. I shipped out like 3 shirts like right after that. And then about 2 weeks later, my friend sent me a TikTok, and she posted it, her and her sister, and I was like, oh my gosh. And it got like 300,000 views within like 2 hours, and I was like, this is insane. And then I just started to reach out to like more and more people after that. But yeah,
that's fire. That's kind of that those are the type of stories you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can just grab the cord out of that one. My bad. For all the audio listeners, just a couple little technical difficulties behind the scenes. But yeah, let's say the next one that I was curious, like, obviously Rashad Bateman, Gable Stevenson are from here. Are you from Minnesota? I guess I didn't even really
Stillwater,
ask.
Minnesota.
You're from
yeah.
Stillwater.
Yeah.
Growing up in Stillwater, was that different? Or I guess living in Minneapolis now and Stillwater then, is that, I guess, like, what's the differences? Or like, what, like, did you get like exposed to a lot of like different things in Stillwater, or is like coming out here, was that like a big difference?
I mean, it wasn't a big difference. I spent a ton of time out here, even as a kid, just playing basketball like all the time. I was probably in Minneapolis more than Stillwater, most weekends at least. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't a huge change. I was from Stillwater. It's kind of a quieter, slower town. And then obviously out here, there's like a lot more to do, especially at night. But yeah, that's probably the only change. Yeah, I mean, it's only like half hour away. So
I guess, like, what's the quick story behind like Bateman and Stevenson and Gable Stevenson?
Yeah,
you did you know them? You're familiar with them, and then you just reached out, or similar story?
Actually, this one was crazy. I didn't reach out to either of those first. So it was really early on. And then I got a DM from Gable like really early, like before my friends even like kind of even knew about Blind Havoc. I had like probably 110 followers. And then Gable shot me a DM. He was like, I love that black tee. Like, it's hard. And I was like, I clicked on my DMs and I saw a blue check mark. I was like, oh, it's probably some like spam account. And I clicked, I was like, oh my gosh, that's like Gable. And I was like, I shot him back and I was like, thank you so much. And then he was like, do you have any left? And I was like, absolutely. And then we kind of arranged and I met up after his practice the very next day out here. And then I was just gonna like drop off like a few shirts, and then we just started talking for like half an hour, and then kind of became like friends from there. And it was just super like organic and real and just kind of connected. Like I started asking him questions about like obviously his training and all stuff like that, and then he would ask me stuff about the brand, and I was just like, this is just like a really nice guy. So that was definitely a blessing.
Thanks. And then I guess if you want to touch on like the Bateman connection too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Rashad, kind of the same thing. Actually, I think I might have sent him a DM first.
Mm-hmm.
And this was after his sophomore season. So he was playing amazing. Obviously, like, everyone in the state probably knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Shot him a DM. And then I was like, hey, kind of the same spiel as the Cavender twins. And I sent him pictures of like the brand and stuff. And he said he's seen it on campus on a few guys. And then I told him that I would drop off like a package for him, and he was like, cool. And he was actually leaving the next day. This was Christmas Eve, and he was going out to Atlanta to train because that's where he's from. And then it was like a huge snowstorm. And I was talking to my parents, like, I'm about to go drive down there and talk with Rashad, and they're like, well, like, it's Christmas Eve, it's snow, like, you probably should stay in the house. And I was like, no, like, he's about to leave to Atlanta, like, the very next day. I have to go. And then yeah, just kind of drove down there, chopped up with him. Not as long as Gable, but kind of talked for like 10 minutes. Super cool dude, really quiet, like really quiet. But yeah, gave him the merch, and then he just started like repping it everywhere. Like he was wearing it. He had a YouTube he was trying to build, and he would like wear it like in all the stuff, and I had no idea, and I would just get like tagged in pictures, and so that was really cool.
Yeah, Bateman seems to be showing love to a lot of people
he
back
shows
here.
A lot
like
of
I seen
love,
like he's modeled for Skin Tones.
Skin Tones, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And I seen he posted your stuff a few times.
Yeah.
And then while we're on the subject, I seen Suni Lee came by your kiosk.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was like unplanned, wasn't it? Like just kind of pulled up, was in the mall.
Crazy, yeah.
Did she know? Like, did she just come up and ask questions, or did she like come up and be like, "Oh, I've seen people with this," or like how did that conversation go? Because that's like. I mean, Gable's also a gold. I was gonna say she's one of the most popular. Huge, but her and Gable are basically kind of on that same pedestal of Olympiads, whatever the word.
She's crazy. Yeah. So it was just like a month ago in the mall. I was just there on a Saturday, and then I saw her from like probably 200 feet away, and I was like, no way, that's actually her. And then she came closer, and then I just kind of gave like my Kiosk pitch, kind of like, hey, this is Blind Havoc, and like right as I started that, she was like, oh my gosh, I've seen this on a few of my friends. And I was like, seriously, like, that's so cool. Like, I'm a huge fan of yours. And she was like, oh my gosh, like, Suni as well is like one of the like nicest, most down to earth people I've met. That was just crazy experience. And then yeah, kind of like told her about the brand message, because she's like obviously seen a few of the pieces, but didn't know like exactly what the brand was about. Told her about it, and then she copped a brown hoodie and the lavender Ignore What's Negative one. And then we got a pick, and then she went out and threw the first pitch of the Twins game that night, and my grandpa was actually there, and I shot him a pick. I was like, hey, I was just with her, and then he was like, yeah, that's so cool. But yeah, so that was totally organic, crazy experience, and then she just kind of like aligned with the brand, so it was cool.
Yeah, that's dope. Like you never. That's what I learned with having this physical space. You never know who's gonna walk in.
No
like for
clue.
you never know who's gonna walk by. You never know like. Someone could walk, obviously, like someone could come in and spend some money, make you some money today. But like someone could come in and have a conversation with you, and
that could go way farther
than making $40 or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like your newest drop. Is it the one with the Earth on it, right? And those like 6 pieces that went with it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have like a name? I'm trying to see if there's like. Do you have like a name for this drop or whatever?
I was gonna have a name for the drop, but I kind of created like one extra piece at the end, which is the distorted crew neck. So yeah, I kind of added that one at the end, but this one was all kind of like trying to just spread love to the world. So I kind of used the globe on both the shorts and also on the white tee. And then just like spreading love obviously is kind of what Blind Havoc's all about. So the shorts say the world needs love, which obviously I think is like super true, and I feel like love goes so far. And then on the white T-shirt, it says "Love your neighbor," which it's not obviously just like talking about the person who lives like right down the street, but just kind of like all of us are kind of in the same neighborhood. And then just trying to show love to everyone and really trying to bring a community kind of towards love. So that was kind of the inspiration.
Yeah, and the prices are very nice.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Like,
So
a lot of clothing brands, like obviously, some brands can charge a little bit more for depending on what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I see like you have some T-shirts for 15, some for 26, crew necks for 38, under 40, and shorts for 33. Like, and it has a lot of print and a lot of color on it. Is that something that you try, like you take pride in or try to do, is to be very affordable for everybody and not be like, oh, I have $100 shorts. You know,
I don't want to do that.
Like I see the brands like the Eric Emanuels that sell those shorts, and like I mean a lot of other brands that charge $80 for a T-shirt that obviously probably costed like $8 to make. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like like how do you go about pricing your clothes? Like what are your factors in that?
Yeah. So I'm like, when I started the brand, I wanted to create something to where the point, if a person like liked the design and they wanted it, they'd be able to probably like afford it and not have to like save up like a month or two to get like a $200 sweatshirt or anything crazy like that. And then for like how I come up with the prices, I obviously like want to make like profit, but I try to keep that like a respectable amount. So like I'll never have like a $75 sweatshirt unless it's just like it probably would have to take me like $45 to make or something crazy like that. So I just try to keep the prices as affordable as possible, just so like everyone who likes it can like will be able to get it. And then like obviously I like to have the people wear the brand as much as possible, and that's kind of part of the marketing, because if like the prices are low, then obviously the barrier to entry is a lot easier for them. So like more and more people will be wearing the brand, and then obviously like the positive message is so big on the clothes that that will obviously be spread like way more, which obviously means a lot more to me than making an extra $10 on a shirt or $20 on a hoodie. Just kind of having that that vibe out there of positivity is huge.
That's kind of like where we're at right now too. We sold a lot of T-shirts and stuff where it's like, it's a Gildan or whatever, like a cheaper tee, just one, a few color print, and we're selling them for $20, $30 or whatever here and there. But we're trying to like go down that alley of having like some luxury streetwear, some luxury stuff, because like we're in a store, we're selling Supreme hoodies for $250, Bape tees for $120. So we have those customers that are willing to spend that type of stuff, and it's like, how do we make our brand like match the quality and sell it for the same price? And we've been experimenting. Like we have this hoodie that we're trying to release this fall, but it's almost going to cost us $70 to $80 per hoodie to produce, because for the blank that we're getting, the print we're doing on it, the extra stitching, the extra tags, and all this type of stuff, it's like, damn, like we're gonna have to charge fast. Like almost $140 on this hoodie just for it to be worth our time.
No, it's insane.
Like it's crazy. So like I do like that yours is like super affordable, because you're trying to spread a message. Exactly. You're not necessarily trying to like I'd say like there's a difference between just trying to like just make dope clothes with not necessarily a message behind it, and you're just trying, you're making 5 hoodies, you put a bunch of work into this, and it's a $500, each one's $500, and people just want that to be like, this is some drip. But then there's also the side where it's like just pushing a message through the clothing, and at the end of the day, it seems like the ones that can sell for the cheaper and they're whatever end up doing more numbers. Maybe not, I don't know anybody's like stats or whatever, but it seems like more people are wearing the ones that are affordable versus, there's the super expensive ones, and it's just like the high tier, trying to flex type people. So I like that too. But I definitely think like if you came out, like I think you're established enough where if you came out with a few like really nice pieces that are expensive that obviously costed you, that cost you $50 to make, and you selling it for $95, $99 or whatever it may be, I think like you built that resume where you could like have that as an option. You know? Like
I've thought about that, because I like in one of the coolest parts of being at the like mall location is like obviously people will walk by in person. They'll like say like, hey, like I would love if you did blah blah blah, or if you had like shorts with this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've actually taken a few pieces of advice and actually like added that, especially like the last 6 months. I actually posted like a poll on like what people would like to see, certain like designs, fabrics and stuff like that, and like I've actually gone on to use that. So being at the kiosk also is a huge help in terms of like knowing like what the consumer like would like to see next. So that's huge.
It's always big to take everyone's criticism but not not live by it, basically.
Don't take it personal. Yeah.
Because people tell me a lot of things. Oh, you should be doing this, should be doing that. And I'm like, if I listened to everything everybody told me, I wouldn't have done anything that I wanted to do or that I had planned on doing. So it's like a lot of times people will say, why aren't you doing this? You should be doing that. Or whatever it may be, but whole time like you have plans for the next 2 years in your brain.
Yeah, it's
that
all
like
mapped out.
if I messed up, if I started venturing off and doing these things that I'm like letting everyone tell me what I should be doing, then it's gonna ruin my 2-year plan.
Exactly.
So definitely just like I guess like keep that in mind. That's like my big thing. I always try to tell people that are growing a brand is just you want to listen to what everyone's saying, but don't die by it. You know, like don't just like, oh dang, they said I should be reposting these many artists a week. You know, like oh I have to do that. Like like you know that's just not what our brand is. We're not a repost page. We make content that supports the scene. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my little rant there though. But is there anything else you'd like to add before we finish? Any key points? Anything they should know? Any next coming releases you got planned?
I mean, just a few things. Next coming releases, I've been working on some fall winter gear for probably like the last 4 months. So I'm super excited to have that come out. That'll probably be, I don't want to give like an exact date yet, but probably early fall for that. And then something I get a lot is like people say that they want to start their own brand and they'll kind of ask me for advice on that, especially at the kiosk, like every single day. So I would just probably like to touch on a few of those things. So yeah, like when people ask me like what it takes and people will be like, hey, like, is it hard to start your own brand? I'll be like, it is like very, very hard. And then probably like the main things I would say is obviously is try to have like a meaning behind the brand. I think that'll be able to push like a lot farther and faster even is if you can like try to build a community and don't try to build like this like huge community. Like even if you start with like 10 people who like really align with it and like will like almost like die behind your brand, like that's way better than having like 200 people who are like, that's like a sick design, but like won't really probably tell their friends about it because it doesn't hit in the same spot as if like there's like a brand kind of concept behind it. So I would say focus on that. And then don't get like caught up in the money at the beginning because I mean, it's going to be really slow. So if you have to like work like 2 jobs on the side of your brand, or if you only can do your brand at night, like just trying to keep the end goal in mind and not just trying to like cash out quick would be huge.
Facts. Yeah, you got to keep the end goal in mind. You never fail until you quit.
Absolutely.
That's my biggest motto. One of them. You never fail until you quit. Definitely a lot of times where I'm like, damn, I could just quit doing this, work a job, zero stress, 0 extra thing on my shoulders. But then it's like, if you quit 3 months later, you're going to be like, I hate this more than I was having fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, you
don't fail when you quit.
Yeah.
Nipsey said that. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah. The only way you fail is when you quit. Yeah.
I wonder if my dad learned that from him, because I think my dad told me that when I was younger. I don't know if my dad listens to Nipsey Hussle. Probably not. There's not a chance. He's a Metallica guy, so probably not. But yeah, go follow him at blind_havoc on Instagram. You can shop online if you are not local on blindhavoc.com. If you are in the Minneapolis area, or take a trip to Minneapolis, stop by the Rosedale Mall. You'll find his kiosk
stop
in
by
there 7 days
too.
a week. Yeah, stop by us too. You know, we're not too far, about 15 minutes away from each other. Right? That's Roseville, right? The Roseville Mall. But yeah, maybe you'll see his closing here someday too. We'll have to figure that out.
Hopefully, yeah.
And
wait, one more thing. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my parents, Marita and Rob, especially my dad, just being able to watch him like work up close, like I touched on before, and that's just been like a huge kind of inspiration to me. And then kind of all the I don't even know how to say this, kind of like all of his like traits I try to like copy to a T, like the way he talks to people, and I've brought that to the kiosk and how like he like treats everyone the same, and kind of got that from both of my parents. So just huge shout out to my mom and my dad.
Facts. Always got to shout out the parents.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank y'all for listening. Like, subscribe, share. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, give us a good rating. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe, comment, like, tell all your friends about us, man. We're trying to help people blow up, man.
Shout out to Waterwave.
Trying to just let people spread their voice. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. We do a lot of content besides this. If you are new to the channel, we also vlog. We record concerts. What else do we do, man? We do a little bit of...
Was it 9 coming soon?
I think, did we just do set? I think we just did 6 or 7. I don't really remember, but we throw concerts. We throw concerts to help out the scene. We got a lot of stuff coming too that we haven't even done yet. So just stay tuned. Tap in with both of us. But yeah, peace out, y'all. Appreciate y'all for listening. Yep.